but he refuses to lose faith. Now, you might say, and this is where the story, I think, transcends something like mere rationality, but we can argue about that. You might say that the logical consequence, the logical conclusion from that misadventure is that Job has every rational reason to shake his fist at the sky and curse God, right? But he doesn't. He maintains faith in the goodness of being, despite the fact that he's suffering dreadfully.
Yeah.
And see,
despite what the voice from the whirlwind says to him, which is the least comforting thing that the voice could say, which is, who are you to question the Lord thy God?
Right. But this is such an interesting issue here, because I've watched people in the deep throes of misery. And I can tell you that one of the things that will make misery hell is ingratitude. And so part of the story of Job seems to me to be an injunction, and that is that no matter what happens to you, and that means in some sense, no matter the facts at hand, that you are called upon never to lose faith in the essential goodness of being, right? To conduct yourself as if, what would you say? The cosmos itself is well structured, despite the evidence that happens to be being presented to you within the confines of your life. And I think that's the same as the practice of gratitude.
I'd agree. By the way, bring that to a rather maybe a not obvious segue, but we were also talking last night about the fact I saw you discussed recently the question of euthanasia and the way in which Canadian authorities have been doing this. I mentioned to you that some years ago I went to speak with euthanasia doctors and indeed patients in Belgium and the Netherlands. They're very advanced on this. And I wrote several long essays on the subject. It's a horrible subject to dwell on, of course. But actually, one of the reasons why I've always remained exceptionally suspicious of legalized dying, as they call it. I have, as we all have, friends who you think at the end, I wish the suffering could just stop.
Yeah.
So I recognize that it's, do you want it to be in the hands of the government or any more in the hands of the doctor than it already is, let alone in the hands of the family or anything? I'm not sure about that. Allow the crossover of physical suffering to be equated with mental suffering, and you start putting down depressed youths as they are on the continent. Or the example I've been giving recently.
And they're moving towards that in Canada.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this poor girl who survived the Brussels airport attack.